Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mario Mukwanda Show on Salam Media, and I'm just having a look here. A holiday exodus has begun. So if you are traveling, wherever you are traveling to, please be safe on the roads and make sure you wear your masks, because we all know that if you don't and your passengers don't, you're going to be spending some time up to 6 months behind bars. Yeah, no festive season for you, and don't worry, no January. Anyways, it's time for our marriage segment. Today, we are talking about combating external factors in a marriage. External factors such as health issues, unemployment, relocation, family, in-laws, friends, etc. Life after marriage is not a cakewalk for any couple. Everyone takes their own time to adjust to their new life and understand their partner better. The fights and arguments might not be due to their compatibility issues or misunderstandings, and there could be external factors that damage their relationship, external factors which I just mentioned. So, joining me on the line is our relationship coach, Sakina Dolamo, to unpack this and hopefully we can find solutions to this problem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Coach Sakina.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, the lovely Maria Mukwanda.
How are you today?
Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm good. And how are you?
Alhamdulillah, all well. So, what are these factors, or are the factors that affect relationships?
Assalamu alaikum to your listeners, and thank you so much for Salam Media for always having me. The factors that affect the relationship, the external factors rather that affect the relationship are many, As you've mentioned before, it's parents, your in-laws, friends, and it can also be the environment around you, political issues, religious issues, career issues, even sports. Some people are very passionate about their sports issues, so it can affect the marriage. And also, we're talking about your background experiences, your personal interests, hobbies, and such things, health issues. All of those things are external factors that affect the marriage, and they are part of who you are as a person, because you are part of all of those experiences as a person, any other human living on this earth.
Mm-hmm. And how do these factors affect the marriage?
They can either affect the marriage positively or negatively, depending on how each individual in the marriage decides to receive them. So, for example, let's say at work, you work under stressful conditions and you're always unhappy. It affects the marriage if you're going to be taking out your anger and your frustrations out on your spouse instead of discussing them and resolving the issues. When it comes to your parents or your in-laws, especially if you live with them, they can want to direct your marriage and tell you how you relate to each other as a couple. So those things, they affect marriage either positively or negatively. If you get good advice from your parents, obviously it will affect your marriage. But if you get negative advice that your spouse doesn't agree with, then it will affect your marriage negatively.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's funny is that people always want to be involved themselves in your marriage, and everybody wants it to be their community project. Like, why? Why can't people just mind their own and offer you advice when you ask for it, but just keep their distance?
But it goes both ways. There's a positive factor and a negative factor to it, because at the end of the day, the couple is not just an island,
Yeah.
When you're married, you don't just belong to yourselves, you belong to your family, you belong to the greater community. You are a contributing factor to the greater community. And some people do really, really mean well and they want the best for your relationship, although their advice might not exactly fit into your relationship. And obviously then we know some people are just not positive and they don't mean well, and they might be giving ill advice to intentionally break down your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, yes, we are, when we are married, we do belong to each other, but we also should not ignore the fact that we do belong to the greater community.
Mm-hmm. Right. And how do we tackle these external factors? Let's start first with the family and in-laws, because, I mean, those are the ones closest to us.
I think you know me by now. The first and most important thing is to have open conversations. You know, people like to run away from their problems, and we know what happens when we run away and don't discuss our problems. They become bigger and bigger until they explode. So first things first is to have an open conversation with your spouse and highlight them. For example, if you live with your mother-in-law and your mother-in-law was a housewife, so she's used to always be busy doing housework in the house, so she might be expecting the same about you, and perhaps you are working and you only come home at 5 or 6 o'clock and you can't always keep everything tidy and neat. So it's important to have that conversation with your spouse that I cannot be what your mother expects of me.
Yes.
And these are the challenges that I face, or I'm just not into it. I'm not into cleaning 24 hours a day. You know, it cannot even be work. Maybe you myself be a housewife, but you're just not into cleaning 24 hours a day. You rather go for archery or something else. Then secondly, it's important to set boundaries, you know, because, for example, our parents, our friends, they're used to living with us in a certain manner. And once marriage comes into play, they can't just easily get rid of the habits that they've had with us for many years. If you've had a friend for 20 years and they're used to coming to your house unannounced, now you have to teach them that, you know, now I'm married. You can no longer come to my house after 6 o'clock. You can no longer come Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings unannounced, you know. So you have to put in those boundaries, and you have to also not just put them in, but you have to reinforce them, because it takes a long time to change habits. So all of us around the married couple have now new habits to relearn that, you know, don't go to their house without making a call first. You know, it's just relearning. And perhaps if you were a full-time career person, you were very much in your career, you'd come home at 10 p.m. But now, since you have a partner, you have to cut down your time and come home a little bit earlier. So it's habits, it's new habits that we each have to be patient with each other, because we are constantly learning how to be in this new relationship.
And as they say, old habits die hard. And I'm not talking about Die Hard 2.0 or Die Hard Bruce Willis, but all that. Now, also, when it comes to other external factors, there are issues such as health issues and unemployment. And we did discuss this some time ago. How do you tackle those external issues? I mean, you want to try as best as you can to be with your partner, to support your partner, especially during the unemployment. Anyone can become unemployed. It's not something that we are immune to. So how do you support your partner in that? It is an external factor. And also with the health issues, your partner just gets a disease all of a sudden, and you have to be there for them.
Okay, all right. Again, it goes back to those sitting down and having those challenging conversations that hence when a health issue comes by or before anything happens, you know, as a couple you have to speak. What if something happens? What if one of us experiences an accident and they lose their sort of income? You have to sit down and find solutions and maybe put some precautions in place. But obviously we know how life is. No matter how many precautions you put into place, there's always that one thing that you didn't think of. But if as a couple, before anything happens, you can anticipate it and put forward solutions. But also, you should ask yourself as a couple, how can you work around the health issue if maybe the person is ridden, or now they are forced to be in a wheelchair. So you have to see what positive contribution can this person still make, because no one for as long as they're alive, they're just entirely useless. We know of people who've written books while they were bedridden. So we see if you have to take care of this person, there's a family member that can come in and help, because you see, again, it goes back to that thing that not everyone we are not an island.
Yeah.
As people, we are not an island. So we need the external factors to come in and help us to manage the marriage. So you might get in your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law to come and take care of your spouse while you are out working, so that there's still some sort of income for the family. So it's always about looking for solutions than rather seeing yourself stuck.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We will continue when we return.
Okay, cool.
This is Salam Media, and you are tuned into the Miriam Makwanda Show.
As the crisis in Yemen continues, 80% of the population are in desperate need of basic necessities. The Africa Muslims Agency teams are on the ground undertaking emergency relief efforts. Come to the aid of the people of Yemen by donating any amount now towards food, shelter, and medication. Contact AMA now on 011 834 8685. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Enduring Boys College ke sekolo sa boarding and day se se ikemego se agilwe meleng wa lephefo wa N1 Polokwane. Re tlhotlheletsa thuto ye tlhwatlhwa ya monagano le maikutlo lefelong la maleba la go akaretša botlhe. Re buša re latela melago ya NCS CAPS curriculum, ra ba ra neela ka madulo a bašimane ba mphato wa botshelela go fitlha ka marematlou, ebile re na le didirišwa tša boarding tša mphato wa botshelela go ba go fitlha ka marematlou. Maikemišetšo a Enduring College ke go fana ka thuto ya boleng bja maemo a godimo bjo bo tlhotlheletšago botho. Enduring College ke legae la bobedi la polokego le totego. E ngwadišitšwe le lefapha la thuto e le go Umalusi. Tsebo ka botlalo e hwetša nomorong ya 078 452 6264, 078 452 6264. Re hwetša gape go Facebook le Instagram, goba o re romele email go polokwane@endurance-colleges.co.za.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
You are listening to Miriam Makwanda, live on Salam Media.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mario Makunda Show on Salam Media, and we are talking combating external factors in a marriage: health, unemployment, relocation, family, in-laws, etc. with relationship coach Pumelele Sakina Dolamo. If you have any questions, please send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. Sakina, thank you for staying on the line. What about relocating to a different city or a different province or country? How does that affect the relationship?
Again, it can affect the relationship either positively or negatively, because you might get into the area and it doesn't sit well with you. Perhaps the neighborhood is a quiet neighborhood, the neighbors are unfriendly, and you are an outgoing person. So such things can leave you down and depressed, because you feel like got nowhere to go, you don't have an outlet, and then as well the way you feel affects your marriage. You know, either the people around you, you know, the identity, or if you're used to being surrounded by religious people around you, people that share the same religion with you. So you might find yourself isolated as a couple because you don't have people with similar religion or people with similar experiences around you. You know, so it can take a toll on the relationship and learning to live in the new normal that you are experiencing.
All right. And then in a situation like that, well, what should one do? Should the couple just become, should they go around making friends? Should they go back to where they were? Because what if this was like a job opportunity and, you have to just up and go. It's obviously not easy to just up and go, leave your family behind, leave everything behind, and start a new life elsewhere. And we have to follow our husbands, where our husbands go, we go type of situation. And it can be very a detriment, maybe not detrimental, but it can be challenging, especially to one's mental health.
I think one is to look at your environment and look at your interests as a couple and see in your environment what resonates with you. You know, most communities have things like botanical gardens, they have community activities that you can participate in. So it might not be exactly the puzzle pieces that you are looking for, but somehow, you know, there might be something of interest in the area, you know. So it's always good. And these days we have so much of technology and so much of research available to us. So look at what you can find around. You know, there might be nature reserves you can go for hiking. There might not be your family and friends around, but you can always have those video calls. You can always once a month go and see your family if maybe you did not locate to another continent or something like that. So always just look at the positive and finding solutions, because many people like to focus on the problems and they don't look at the solutions of what are the positives that can come in here, you know. And sometimes you can even invite your new neighbors for a cultural experience, you know, because they are of different culture, you know. So just always look at the positives that you can come in and will make you part of the new environment.
Or go and introduce yourself to your neighbors and take them something and be like, hello, I'm your new neighbor. I live just next door.
Yes, positivity.
Yeah, well, some of us are not that positive, but anyways, we're gonna try our best to settle in. All right, so we're gonna leave it there. Shukran so much for your time once again and for sharing those tips with us. Communication is key, and we always mention this here with all of our marriage coaches. Always like communication, talk, and talk about it. Don't just leave it there, right there. All right, Sakina, have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
That was Coach Sakina Pumelele Dolamo talking about external factors that affect a marriage. We spoke about health issues, unemployment, relocation, family, in-laws, friends, etc. On, it's really interesting that when you're deciding to get married, we don't ever consider these things. Okay, the family and friends, yeah, because they are there. They are part of your wedding as well. So we always look at it like they'll always be there. But we tend to overlook things like health issues, unemployment, relocation, when you need to move cities because of jobs or whatever. And only when you are in that situation, that's when you think like, why didn't I think of this before? Why didn't we speak about this? Why didn't we consider this as a possible issue? But whatever happened, uh, don't think of it as an end. It's not the end of the relationship. you can strengthen your marriage. You can strengthen your relationship with each other. And if needs be, go and get counseling. Go and get counseling and speak to a professional. Perhaps they will be able to give you a bit more professional advice. It takes effort to protect, to nurture, and to grow a marriage. Um, Between work schedules, children, and other obligations, sometimes it can seem impossible to maintain that partnership. And when problems arises, some couples find that it's healthier to divorce and go their separate ways. And for others, it's a better choice to work on the relationship. So choose to work on your relationship first, and if all else fails, then unfortunately you can go your separate ways. So, if you have any further comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section. Send them to us on WhatsApp. The number 061 766 0355. And you can also leave them on our social media pages. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and use the hashtag The Mariam Mukwanda Show. We will be right back after this.
Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us. And with one voice, let's all say, Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. From now you'll share all your joys, through hardships support each other, together worshipping Allah, seeking His pleasure. We pray that He will fill your life with happiness and blessings, and grant you kids to make your home filled with laughter. Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us. And with one voice, let's all say, Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair.